New Malpais is an exotic pulse rifle that fires atomizing rounds that can be detonated upon impact. Sustained damage will cause a strained suspension. Malpais is a Spanish term referring to rough and barren landscapes, otherwise known as Badlands. The lore of the exotic follows Spider and Lara, his associate, as they discuss a lost shipment. Spider had paid a heavy price for research and claim over experimental pulse rifles. During the weapons exchange on Mars, Spider's associates were ambushed and killed, their remains leaving the marks of torch hammers, line rifles, and slug rifles. These are weapons belonging to the Vex. Spider commanded Lara to prepare his catch for a journey to Mars, as the attack was proof of a new black market present on the Red Planet. It seems that the Vex of the Tharsis Reformation are the culprits of the ambush, given the evidence of Vex weapons. The Tharsis Reformation are a group of Vex that have left the Conductors Collective. The Conductors Vex are under the control of the Echo of Command, which rework their chemistry, giving way to individual personalities. The Tharsis Reformation gained independence, and decided to use their freedom to become criminals among the Badlands of Mars. Wavesplitter is an exotic trace rifle that fires a harmonic laser with 3 different power levels. When the Wavesplitter first released, it was Amalon's second trace rifle, following Cold Heart. Cold Heart was a weapon that took arc energy and cooled it to sub-zero temperatures, firing a cold fusion powered laser. The Wavesplitter uses focused sonic waves to superheat electrons into a laser, essentially using sound to overheat electrons. You can see this visually on the weapon, with sonic waves on display and a container that heats up when Wavesplitter is fired. The lore tab is an FAQ from Amalon regarding the exotic. One question asks if it needed ammo, and Amalon said that the ammo is converted into electrical energy that powers the laser emitter. They are then asked how it sounds to be on the receiving end of the laser. Quote, "Our Guardian testers give us many different answers. Some say it sounds like a scream you hear in your bones. Others say it sounds like a dying star. Still others say it reminds them of a knife, shaped like a B-flat. The Fighting Lion is an exotic grenade launcher that fires primary ammo and bounces off of surfaces. The lore follows legendary Titan Wei Ning after a Crucible match. She had just defeated every Guardian in her match using only her fists, and overheard them bad-mouthing her. This angered Wei Ning, who began to punch a mountain repeatedly. Her punches were so strong that it moved the mountain. Wei Ning made a vow that she would make every Guardian lose their technology and weapons so that they would see that she was right, that your fists were the best weapon to count on. Her ghost responded saying that Ariana, her partner, would be upset by this, instead asking if Wei Ning could make a weapon just as powerful as her fists. This inspired Wei Ning to create the Fighting Lion, and she called it the Zhongfei. Zhongfei was the name of a Chinese general serving under Liu Bei, a warlord in the late Eastern Han Dynasty. He's also a major character in the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, a story that dramatizes the events of the period. Zhongfei was known to be a fierce and faithful warrior, just like Wei Ning. The Patience in Time is an exotic sniper rifle from Destiny 1. It allows you to gain camouflage when aiming down sights. The weapon is constructed from many materials, including a ghillie net, giving it an aged and rugged design. The weapon has had many names throughout its development and history. It was originally known as Closing Time, but had also been called Better Than Yours and Shut Up and Get Behind Me, a reference to a level in Halo Combat Evolved. This was the level The Truth and Reconciliation, and there is a segment in the level titled Shut Up and Get Behind Me, Sir. The Stag is an exotic warlock helmet, and its perk, Dearly Departed, improves your rift by giving users damage reduction, energy at low health, and will spawn a healing rift when you die. The exotic is the skull of a stag, and the lore describes its sentience. Quote, "In a distant life I knew fear, but bones cannot bleed. Your slings and arrows carve runes of power into my skull. I am prey no longer. I was your sacrifice, your food, your harvest. You thought I would lie where I fell, but I am prey no longer. Now it is my turn to stalk you among the long shadows, to make your strength my own, to take all you hold dear, for I am prey no longer." This lore tab is really cool, and raises questions regarding the skull's sentience. I do wonder who killed this stag, as it seems like their slings and arrows were the power that brought it back to life and gave it sentience. The Azurine Thunder is an exotic ghost shell featuring a seraph design. The lore describes a conversation between Eris Morn and the Drifter, as they discuss the Drifter's ghost. Drifter's ghost has seen a lot. It keeps itself hidden, has no way to speak, bears a red eye, and its shell is reinforced by the shells of 5 dead ghosts. Drifter modified his ghost with the dead ghosts during the Red War, giving it a very unique connection to the light. Eris had prepared a meal for Drifter, and the food was something that Drifter didn't find that good, an oddity for the man who could eat anything, even parts of a hive. She encouraged him to rekindle his relationship with his ghost, with Drifter replying, quote, To put it lightly, I'll be breaking bread with a damn fireball. Besides, with my track record, I wouldn't be surprised if my ghost hated me. I know I would. Eris then replied, those feelings aren't for you to assume or decide. You can only control how you react to them. Besides, maybe we all deserve a second chance. The Allstar Vector was the first exotic skimmer introduced to Destiny. It was earnable during Guardian Games 2024, and its lore describes the arrival of the new vehicle. Prakesh, former Guardian and Guardian Games gambler, and the Spider received the skimmers as a gift to the city. It seemingly turned up out of nowhere, Spider finding it unusual, with Prakesh clarifying that usually there's a bet involved in stuff like this. Quote, this almost looks like one of the Neomuna skyboards though, and the Vanguard wouldn't be passing that around. Your donor leave a name, at least? Spider sighs and reaches for a datapad. Ugh, let's see. 2 shipments. Personal vehicle, skimmer, gift to the city. Ah, here. Concordat. Spider looks over at Prakesh, who shrugs. No idea who that is. The skimmer was a gift from the Concordat, and this is pretty major. The Concordat are a faction of Guardians who attempted to overthrow the Speaker many years ago, way before our resurrection as Guardian, but they were exiled for their transgressions. They are led by Lysander, who has been plotting his return for years. There's something brewing within the Concordat, which we'll get to later in the video, but it's interesting that they're trying to buy our Guardian's favor, by giving us things like the skimmer. Wolf's Bane is an exotic axe, the first of its kind, that belongs to the Iron Lords. This axe is infused with Quicksilver, a nanite technology like that of Siva, and the nanites will attach to the blade. When fully charged, the nanites will enhance the axe's capabilities, changing its appearance. The weapon was acquired from the Heliostat exotic mission, where we reach across timelines and bring Wolfsbane into ours. Wolfsbane's Quicksilver nanites are an evolution of Siva developed by Neomuni scientists, and this raises a few questions. If Wolfsbane is truly from another timeline, did the Iron Lords of that time interact with the people of Neomuna? Did Rasputin and Siva evolve differently? There's a lot to think about. The lore tab follows a conversation between Ikora and a member of the Praxic Order, perhaps Honor, though I doubt it since they act a lot differently. The Praxic member is frustrated with the Order, saying that they could do more than just monitor darkness, since Guardians wield darkness frequently. The member expresses that Maya is interested in more paracausal energy, and that should interest the Praxic Order. Quote, Ikora ignored the jab. Don't worry about the plague lands. The Guardian will handle it. She powered down the map and gestured toward the door. My time was up. Besides, she said, I'm sure whatever detail the Praxics have you on is equally important. They've got me babysitting the Drifter. I rolled my eyes. She chuckled. Then you needn't worry. You'll be back under fire soon enough. The Titan exotic, Melas Panoplia, allows you to throw your solar hammer and recall it back to you, just like Thor. Melas Panoplia derives its name from 2 Greek words. Melas is a Greek word for dark or black, and Panoplia means armor, so dark black armor. Even though the exotic is red, the black of the name refers to the black armory insignia on the gauntlet. The lore tab is rather interesting, and tells the story of a Department of External Observation's investigation of the Va Alps. It's a strange one. A lot of the lore tab is redacted, but it describes how night skiers reported an Emerald 727 seemingly crashing into the backside of Les Diableries, an area of the Va Alps. The Swiss armed forces evacuated the mountain and notified the DEO. The DEO sent a response team, whose names are redacted, but it included a linguist, sociologist, physician, and director of the DEO, William Moffat. The linguist seems to be Lodi, aka Louis Liero, as he is the only linguist that we know of that worked for the DEO. The group then walked to the object. The true nature of the object is redacted in lore tab, so we can only really guess as to what it is. Per protocol, they read something aloud, and what they said is redacted, but then they played musical stimuli before approaching the object. Upon doing so, quote, the redacted had torn a redacted through the redacted, which revealed redacted. The redacted themselves were imposing, burly, redacted, structure, redacted at the top with redacted in a triangular, redacted, and tough, thick, redacted. Redacted are clearly redacted, confirming our foundational hypothesis. The redacted are being redacted at our redacted, aboard the redacted. We also uncovered a redacted inside a redacted. Stored within the redacted was a payload of redacted that further research suggests was redacted engineered to consume a redacted threat. Redacted confirms to me that in addition to the redacted material found in the laboratory, there is text from an additional redacted. Now, a lot of this is redacted, but we can kind of piece together what happened. There are seemingly multiple of these burly, imposing, tough, thick creatures that they found in this object, which seems to be some sort of UFO. These aliens are then transferred from this location to another DEO location aboard some sort of DEO ship. And they also uncovered something within the ship, that research suggested was, I guess, reverse engineered to consume something. This document was directed to Defense Secretary Calloway, a man who in real life served as a Secretary of the United States Army from 1973 to 1975. It seems that the DEO assumed this object would carry life, given the presence of a linguist, sociologist, physician at the site, and a strange protocol that followed. What these creatures truly are is unknown, but it's something I am really interested to see more of. And there's more than meets the eye when it comes to what happened in Les Diableries, which we'll see later on in this video. Speaking of Lodi, enter the Ort Explorer. The Ort Explorer is an exotic ship built to travel the Oort cloud, the cloud of ice, debris, dust, and other materials at the edge of the solar system. Kepler is found within the Oort cloud, and the lore shows Lodi meeting Ikora's ghost for the first time. Lodi asks Ikora how long she and her ghosts have been working together, really a sneaky way to ask how old she was, with Ikora responding that they had been together for dozens of lifetimes. Lodi asked how often she dies, with Ikora saying, quote, "Much less often than I used to," she assures him, "though I like to think my record was fairly good, even in the field." Ophiuchus flips his shell sarcastically at her. He remembers their crucible days well. Ikora folds her hands behind her back. She looks up from the rocky ground to the alien sky above it. The beginnings of a smile tug decorously at the corner of her mouth. I wouldn't trade it for the world. This dialogue is quite interesting for a few reasons. For one, Lodi asks a question regarding her death during the time of the Edge of Fate. During the campaign, Ikora had to hold a nuclear reactor together by physically holding it up, which caused her to be killed dozens of times. This might have been one of the only times in recent memory that she had died like this. Ophiuchus recalled her Crucible days, which must have brought back a bunch of pleasant memories. Ikora was a champion of the Crucible, being one of the only people to defeat Lord Shaxx and achieve a 25-match winning streak. The SUROS Regime is an exotic auto rifle where the bottom half of the magazine deals bonus damage and has a chance to return health on kills. It was prominent in the Crucible in Destiny 1, and the Destiny 1 Grimoire spoke about how the SUROS engineers created the regime using Golden Age blueprints. The weapon integrates smart matter, which a shortage of the smart matter caused the end of the regime's production. This led to the model becoming very rare. The lore tap in Destiny 2 reflects its rarity, as its smart matter frame is beloved by many Guardians for being both rare and effective. It was once known as the Arcus regime during its early development, so it seems like SUROS was once called Arcus in Destiny 1's development. The Imperial Incubator is an exotic sparrow with a very interesting lore tab. It reads as follows.
My Kian, I am finally recovering from my fever and should be released from this damned warship soon if my tasks finish on the Cabal's schedule. The days are running into each other. This station is taking decades to design. Not that anyone will know. It'll look like days, maybe a week at most, but it's a lifetime without you in it. Despite that, the warship still feels like a maze. I've given up trying to decipher it. These Cabal have identified themselves as under the Barent Imperium. Just from my guess, they are former Cabal Ascendancy troops. The guards assigned to me have expressed some nasty opinions on Empress Keitel. They're so damn loud. It's hard to think. No, not that I can tell them as such. They answer to someone new. I don't know the name. They've been building some sort of weapon while I've been working on the station. I think the two are connected somehow. I tried to inquire about it and nearly had my arm ripped off. Haven't asked about it since. You'll need to find out about that yourself. Attached are sketches of the Cosmic Incubator. Don't let them find this, Kian. Give this letter to Eris when you're done with it. And please stay safe. I love you.
There's quite a bit to unpack with this one, as it contains a lot of information regarding the plans of the Barent Imperium. Dr. M. Simoni-Lee is a spy investigating the Cabal within a warship that manipulates the perception of time and features a labyrinthian design. The important detail is that Dr. Lee was being forced to develop a station, and while they are working on it, the Cabal were creating a weapon. And this warship can manipulate your perception of time. To them it seemed like decades, but to us it'll only have been a week. So the Nine are definitely involved. But the weapon, they are creating an incubator at a cosmic scale. An incubator is an apparatus used to hatch eggs and grow microorganisms. The incubator could be used to develop life, possibly a body for a member of the Nine that desires transformation. The 9 have tried this before in the Kokida station, but failed miserably. Perhaps this new Cabal Cosmic Incubator could be the key, and it could be why there are strange manipulations of time. Moirai is an exotic hunter chest with the perk Web Catcher, allowing your threaded spike to bounce off tangles and refund the energy. Moirai is also a Greek word for the 3 goddesses of fate and destiny in Greek mythology. The Moirai controlled the threads of fate for an individual and ensured that their destiny was fulfilled. Clotho cast the thread onto her spindle, Lachesis measured the thread with her rod, and Atropos cut the thread, determining the end of life. The exotic builds into the threaded spike ability of Strand, the power that connects to the weave of reality. The lore tab is an entry from Lodi as he realizes all he must remember. He was pulled from the space age, and a majority, if not all the knowledge from that time was lost. He is the only person in present-day Destiny that remembers. Among the things of the past are the United States, Abraham Lincoln, and the USSR. More personally, his brother Ben, sister-in-law Fernanda, niece Betty, and nephews Philip and Benito. These people are gone, and Lodi is the only person that exists in present Destiny who remembers them. The knowledge of their existence lies in Lodi. He starts to remember the people of his past, friends, mentors, and people he met only one time. What pains Lodi the most is the loss of his brother Ben, and one line from this lore tab that sticks out to me is the victims at Les Diablerae. Remember, this was the location of the investigation recorded in Melas Panoplia. There's a mystery regarding the incident and investigation at Les Diablerae, and I think it's something we need to remember. The Sunbreakers are exotic warlock gauntlets from Destiny 1. They are not to be confused with the Titan Order, the Sunbreakers, and the lore tab in Destiny 2 describes this confusion. The Sunbreakers are known as the Sunbracers in Destiny 2. In Destiny 2, using your powered melee on an enemy allows you to throw infinite grenades for a 5-second period. The lore tab reads as follows.
Thanks. Helium reactor's still intact. What'd you call them?
Sunbreakers.
Bad idea. I go around touting that name and those mercs will come out of their caves and I'll have twice the trouble. I've got enough bad blood with those barbarians.
What?
The Sunbreakers. Old Titan Order. Super Series mercenaries. Firehammers. They've been in the wilds for decades, and word is they've made a new pact with the city, so there's bound to be more of them.
It's just a name.
You tell them that. They'll probably put a bounty on you and try to sacrifice you to their forge. I'll just call them Sunbracers.
Call them what you want. To me, they'll always be Sunbreakers.
The third iteration is an exotic scout rifle that fires a spread of void energy projectiles, and aiming down sights for a short period compresses the spread into a powerful projectile. The lore tab follows Lodi, as he contemplates his current situation as being the third iteration of the Nine's emissary. He misses his family. He misses visiting his mother in the town of Lodi, which is what he named himself after. He misses his nephew, his niece, his sister-in-law, his brother. He misses it all. Quote, Lewis sits with his face in his hands. They are gone, que Diosito los tenga en su santa gloria, and he is here, grief and eternity ringing in his ears. His eyes lose focus, and briefly, he sees. His niece and nephew are playing in a yard full of fireflies. He hears Ben's laugh intermingling with his own. A loon wails in the distance, and leathery smoke curls into the air. Lewis bolts to standing. 1,000 years ago is also right now, and in this infinite heartbeat, his loved ones are dead, and they are also alive. Time is not linear, saying Lewis's electrons. You will always be with your family on a patio in July. The vision ends, and Lewis lets out a long, shaky breath, filled with awe. As he does, his feet silently lift off the ground. He startles for a moment, then surrenders, a mad grin on his face. There are miracles at intersections, 9 and human, dead and alive, lime and pike. He leans forward for his glasses and pants and puts them on midair, every atom in his body searing neon, and drifts out of his tent into Kepler's indigo night. Light catches on Lewis's glasses as he rises, his bare feet a meter from the ground, and he tilts his head toward the stars. The Blastwave Striders are Titan exotic legs that give you resistance to your own explosives, and defeating targets charges the armor. When charged, dealing explosive self-damage allows you to rocket jump and blast stasis shrapnel. The lore follows Kiris and Hayes, 2 Vanguard operatives that are delivering supplies to the farm. The farm is still in a state of repair. Some Guardians are stationed there in the meantime, as they discuss permanent fortifications. Quote, Kiris looks at the panels and sees it, dotted constellations of energy signatures, worming through the neighboring hills and valleys, stretching out for miles. Guess they got that solar cell network going, she says. This lore tab raises a few questions regarding the status of the farm. The last time we visited the farm was during the Season of Defiance, It was used as a base of operations for Marsov, her Techions, and the Coalition during the invasion of Earth. Since the defeat of the Witness, it seems that many people have called the farm their home. Collection Call is an exotic ship that is acquired from completing secrets and obtaining trinkets on Kepler. The lore tab describes how the phone in the DEO's office warped Lodi through time. Lodi approached the containment room. The door was not meant to be open, and the phone was ringing, which it never had done before. The phone wasn't connected to anything, but seemingly was, as it sent a clarion call that pulled Lodi toward it. He answers. There is white and gold plastic in his hand. There is his hand and there is plastic, and they are one. There is flesh on the line, entwined with copper. There is a wail like a reaching signal, cords taut like cable. There is a pupil in each eye, bisected and bisected again, to see the breadth of probability. There is a man in a mirror of black ink, words yet spoken and spoken already. There is a corpse wrapped in flowing iron and cold clay. Decay is decay is decay. There is a globe of life and wash beneath, falling, ripping out inversely. There are the viscera of unmaking, hand in hand with the awareness of knowing. There is a gasp of pain and ringing in newborn cry. He answers. There will be a death and rebirth, rupture and rapture. There will be an answer before the question. There will be effect before cause. There's a lot to unpack with this lore tab. We read Lodi's experience after picking up the phone and how it pulled him through time. While a lot of it is a little hard to decipher, some seem to correlate to the cutscene where this transpires. The globe of life, falling and ripping out inversely, and the viscera of unmaking, hand in hand with the awareness of knowing, may refer to the death of 3. 3 was ripped out of its place in the 4th dimension, which was a death caused inversely, resulting in a viscera of unmaking. The lines describing a death and rebirth and effect before cause seem to refer to guardians and paracausality. We die and are reborn, with effect before cause, the powers of paracausality that defy both cause and effect. The Edge of Intent is one of 3 exotic glaives released in the Witch Queen, one specific to each class. Melee and projectile damage charge the weapon, and when fully charged, fire a special projectile. Consuming the charge before firing makes your next shot a healing turret. The weapon is an echo of an ancient weapon, the first glaive created by Rolk, and forged from the cunning memory of Savathûn. The lore tab is an excerpt from the Books of Rememoration, a story sewn into flesh with sinew and malice, a record of the Scheme Mother's resurrection and return, a narrative that describes the return of Savathûn. This tab details Savathûn's death upon the cliffside before the Traveler, as she is resurrected and given a ghost. The ghost that brought the light to her said, quote, "You are a god of the chosen krill, the hive. You are the mother of cunning and lies. You are the first of your kind gifted with light, which is a paracausal force of the sky." In this moment, Savathûn was without memory, but her cunning nature still remained, an intrinsic part of her being. This ghost, who is Amaru, guided Savathûn to her most trusted wizard and took her to the Lure, her giant flagship. Whirling Ovation is an exotic rocket launcher acquired from the Desert Perpetual. It has the perk Coronal Culmination, where it charged projectiles of a delayed solar payload, and the charge speed of this weapon's next shot slowly increases over time. Anticipation builds more quickly as you deal more damage with other weapons. The lore tab follows Rashida Ab Owain, an Ionian scientist and the first person to discover the Vex on Kepler. She found a Vex chassis and set the Vex up on a table, and the Vex began to copy her every gesture. Rashida scratched her head with a pen. The Vex scratched its own cranium. Rashida tapped her chest. The Vex did the same. Rashida ducks her head towards her recorder, aware of every small motion she makes. Rashida is a mechanical engineer specializing in the design and maintenance of hydroponic systems. She is in no way qualified to initiate contact with a potential second non-human species on Kepler. I need language specialists, anthropology, biomechanics, programming. Holy anomaly, help us all. I need the evolutionary biologists. The thing takes a rocking step closer. Rashida looks it up and down. She steps once towards it, mimicking its motion. It points at her. She points first towards it, then towards herself, waiting for its response. Rashida needs experts. What she has is herself. Hypothesis, testing, iteration, she murmurs, the mantra calming. Amen. Renegade Leader is an exotic ship that is inspired by the design of X-Wing fighters from Star Wars. The name is even reminiscent of the Red Leader and Gold Leader titles held by the captains of Red and Gold Starfighter squadrons. The lore tab is a record of personal logs written by the Warlock Honor over the past few years. Quote, entry number 5. No one is safe. With the re-emergence of the Weapons of Sorrow, an escaped prisoner somehow getting their hands on a Devourer bullet, and the murder of our Hunter Vanguard, now more than ever, the Order's work is essential to the survival of humanity. Bahagari suggests recruitment efforts should be expanded. I agree. Entry number 6. Ikora's requested I stand down for my pursuit of the Drifter. After that back alley deal turned hostile situation in Midtown, and his weaponizing of Taken energy, I need to know his game. He's been feeding us intel and wants to meet. If the intel's as good as he claims, maybe I won't arrest him. Maybe. Entry number 13. This use of darkness is a plague. Corrupted guardians and ghosts are everywhere. Siegfried and I were able to quash that attempt to follow in Aramis's footsteps. Had they found our vault, it would have been a different story altogether. Entry number 26. First Batsa, now Market District? How much closer to the tower can known criminals like Spider get? My sit down with Prakash wasn't as fruitful as I had hoped, although the Concordats play to butter up guardians with skimmers is a noteworthy takeaway. Entry number 27. Zavala's order to conceal the prophecy may be top priority, but with what I've learned from monitoring the Drifter and the Guardian on this new scheme, I'm taking my Praxic Blade with me for company. The first entry starts with the Forsaken Era. Cade was killed by Priya, the prisoner whose rifle carried a Devourer bullet. A few months later during Season of the Drifter, Anna reported on her investigation of the Drifter and mentioned how she still wants to arrest him. A year later, she was disgusted by the use of stasis and mentioned how she was able to stop Sola Scath, a rogue warlock using a twisted version of the light. During the events of episode Revenant, she found it troubling that Spider was integrating himself into the city, as he was a major criminal. She referenced her investigation on Prakash, which did not reveal anything major, but she found it strange that the Concordat donated the skimmers. Most recently, she mentioned how Zavala is keeping the prophecy hidden, the prophecy that we must bind the Nine, and that extinction awaits us, and that our Guardian and Drifter are up to something that requires her Praxic Blade. It's something dangerous. The Praxic Blade is the weapon that we will wield in Renegades. It looks just like a lightsaber from Star Wars, although Praxic Blades have been featured in Destiny lore before. Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves are exotic hunter arms that improve sidearm airborne effectiveness, ready speed, and reload speed, and when you have low health, swapping to a sidearm reloads and increases its damage. The lore tab is a message from the 7 stars to its patrons. The 7 stars is a bar in the last city with little rules, but they had to increase the number of rules due to the actions of Lady Alu Alderdice. Quote, unfortunately, we are forced to increase our rules by 2, 4, or 5. Alu Alderdice is heretofore banned from our establishment. 5 or 6, who's counting? Alderdice's inventions are also forbidden. Anyone found to be in possession of devices such as, but not limited to, spring razor petticoats, electrified fascinators, sidearm trick sleeves, or arsenic lipstick will be introduced to our bouncer, who is a titan named Carl. Thank you for understanding, and please enjoy your stay. Unless you're Alu Alderdice. Go away, Alu. It seems that the trick sleeves were meant to hide a sidearm, which we can see the place it would have been hidden on the rails on the gauntlet's wrists. Alu Alderdice is a hunter who is an infamous inventor and associate of the Spider. She also had many hidden caches around the solar system, like Cade's hidden stashes, such as one on Deimos. Her inventions are also pretty terrifying, like spring razor petticoats and arsenic lipstick. A spring razor petticoat, that's like a spring trap, that's terrible. Alderdice is a menace. 1000 Voices is an exotic fusion rifle obtained from the Last Wish raid. This weapon has the perk Ahamkara's Eye, where charging this weapon unleashes a giant continuous beam of death. The name of this weapon is referenced to the title of Riven of 1000 Voices, and the weapon is crafted out of Ahamkara bone. The lore tab is a message from an Ahamkara, possibly Riven. Quote, language is a virus that infects the minds of humans. A single word will drive them to rage or lust or weeping. Oh, for the right word, said in the right voice. Oh, to see their hearts well with longing. Oh, to see their desire laid bare in their chest, so juicy and succulent for the taking. I find this lore tab so interesting, since it seems to play into the theme throughout Last Wish, of Riven taking on different voices, the voices of people we know, and twisting their words and speaking to our Guardian. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you channel members for your continued support. Please let me know which exotics you'd like to see next in the comments. And if you'd like to watch another, click the video on screen right now. And again, thank you for watching.